What's happening, guys? It's Jeremy Blanton with RE/MAX Southern Shores here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And today I want to take some time to share with you 5 things that I learned when moving to South Carolina. I grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania. I graduated high school in 1998, and the day after I graduated, I had a party, and the next day I was in the car on my way to South Carolina. I've lived here since, and I absolutely love being here in the South. However, there are some things that I had to learn when moving to South Carolina that I did not expect. And I thought today would be a good time to take a minute or two and share these different things that are out there that are going to help make your move to South Carolina much easier and maybe help convince you that South Carolina is a great place to live. So let's get into these things. So the first thing on our list that I want to talk about is probably the number one reason why people consider moving to South Carolina on a daily basis, and that has to do with our weather. Here in South Carolina, we have some of the greatest weather that you have across the country. Unlike some of the southern states where all you have is hot all year round, in South Carolina you can have the 4 seasons still throughout the year. People who live up in the upstate, you may even see a little bit of snow. And as you get down towards the coast, you're going to have some absolutely gorgeous weather most of the year. Yes, we still do have a little bit of a winter, even here along the coast, but as someone who lives in Myrtle Beach for the last 23 years, I can tell you I've seen snow maybe 4 times since being down here, so it's very, very minimal. If you were to pick the upstate up towards, say, Greenville area, you might see a little bit more snow, but you still shouldn't expect to see more than maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow all season long. So people are flocking from the Northeast. They're coming from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all of those areas, and heading south because they still enjoy having seasons, but they do not want to have to shovel snow and be stuck inside for months at a time throughout the winter. Now, one of the things that I would say regarding snow is this: if there is to be a little bit of a snowfall to come, it's going to basically shut down the state. We do not have the equipment, especially here along the coastline, to help take care of snow and junky weather on the roads. We don't have the plows, the salt machines, or any of that stuff that they use up north when there's a bad storm. So what you can expect is this: when that snow comes, even if it's a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch of snow, the South Carolina is going to basically shut down, sometimes for multiple days. My youngest daughter, who's now 7, has only seen snow once in her life. It was about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of snow that fell, and it was basically almost all melted by lunchtime that day. However, at night, the winter freeze would come back in, and whatever water was there would freeze again on the roads. And so because of the inability to remove it and get rid of all of it, they could not go to school for almost 4 days. Why is that? Because some parts of the county where covered roads were with trees and those types of things, it was freezing over again. But this is a very rare situation where we had several days in a row of this cold weather. Normally what you're going to see here is this for the year in South Carolina. You're going to see a very mild winter. You're going to see a gorgeous, beautiful spring where everything comes into bloom, also known as pollen season, so just be prepared for that. And then we're going to get to summer, and I'm not going to lie. Summers in the South can be hot. They can be a little brutal at times. Up in the upstate, it's much worse than down along the coast, because here we at least have a little bit of a breeze that comes through. But you do have high humidity. Then we get to fall, and unfortunately, down here along the coast, we don't see many tree colors changing and leaves falling because we have mostly pine trees and palm trees. But as you get up into some parts of the upstate, you can still have those gorgeous falls where you can go find the trees changing color, losing their leaves, and it's a great, beautiful thing to check out. So weather is probably the number one thing that people are going to take into consideration when thinking of moving here, and I have to tell you, I give it an A+. Coming in at number 2 on our list is taxes. Property taxes here in South Carolina are rated as some of the most affordable throughout the country. I recently saw a post from Wallet Hub where they ranked South Carolina as the 6th lowest property tax across the country. Now, one of the things that you're going to need to pay attention to with those property taxes is that when you purchase a home, more than likely they're going to put your home into the system with the county assessor as a second home or investment property. Why are they doing that? It's taxed as a higher rate. So what your job then becomes, and your responsibility, is to take the time to go down, get everything set up with the DMV, with the assessors, to make this home your primary residence and get the taxes changed from the secondary rate over to the primary rate. By doing this, you're going to take your property taxes and drop them in basically a third of what they would be. So it's really, really important that you take the time to do this. But overall, you're going to find taxes throughout South Carolina on properties are going to be much, much lower than other parts of the country. I deal with a lot of people who are moving here from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and when I ask them, what are your taxes currently on your home, they normally tell me their taxes in a monthly fee, and it's usually several $100s. And when I share with them, do you realize while you're paying $800-900 a month, down here that's basically your entire year? I recently had a lady who moved here from New Jersey. She had a gorgeous townhome up there, but her taxes for that townhome were close to $560 a month. When I explained to her that down here she could afford a higher priced home because her monthly expenses were going to be much less. And so we had to break it down, and I had to show her that while she's right now paying close to $600 a month in taxes, down here is going to be $100. That made a huge difference. She was able to go out and purchase a home at least $50,000 to $75,000 more and still get her monthly payments less than what she's paying in New Jersey. Now, on the other side, when it comes to taxes, South Carolina is going to collect what they need to take care of the state. How are they going to do that? Well, one of the big ways that they're going to collect it is you're going to pay taxes on your vehicle. I have currently a 2015 Ford Explorer that I drive, and my taxes on my vehicle are right around $400 a year. As your vehicle depreciates in value, that number is going to go down. For example, my wife, she used to drive an older minivan. Her taxes for that vehicle were right around $80 for a year, so it's extremely affordable. But even when you take property taxes and you take vehicle taxes and add them up together, you're still making out in the long run much better than you are in other states throughout the country. So just take this into consideration. Yes, property taxes are less, but you are going to still pay on vehicles, but at the end of the day, it's going to come out much better for you. So the third thing on our list is recreation. South Carolina has a vast array of terrains throughout the state. Here along the beach and the coastline, we have all kinds of great things you can do at the beach. Up towards the northwest, we have mountain ranges, and you can go on some of the hiking trails that South Carolina has to offer. Go enjoy places like Table Rock or Rainbow Falls up near Greenville. It's just a 3 to 4 hour drive from here at the beach up to those great places. Throughout the state, we have all types of amazing places to fish on different lakes, streams, and rivers throughout the state. You can also go along the coast right here. People go down and deep sea fish right off of the ocean side in the sand, or they go out on one of the piers and they're able to catch some great catches. Lest we also forget, when it comes to fishing, we're just a few miles off from the Gulf Stream. You can take a charter boat in just a few hours, be out in the Gulf Stream, where you're going to have gorgeous blue waters where you're going to be able to catch some of the most amazing fish that are around. You could catch things like mahi-mahi, yellowfin tuna, or if you're real lucky, maybe even a blue marlin. And if those things are not what find interest to you, there's one of the other huge things that South Carolina has that thousands of people flock here to do each and every year, and that's called golf. South Carolina has hundreds and hundreds of golf courses throughout the area, ones that are on the PGA Tour, Senior PGA, down to ones that you can go and play as a local for an affordable rate. It is one of the best pastimes that South Carolina has, and due to the fact that we have amazing weather, it's a sport that is done year-round throughout the state. So because of the amount of amazing recreation we have here in South Carolina, people are moving here on a regular basis because there's so many things to do year-round. The fourth thing on our list that I wanted to talk about is sports. Now, this was something that was a big thing for me to get used to when I moved to South Carolina. Growing up where I did in Reading, Pennsylvania, we were about 45 minutes to an hour outside of Philadelphia. And so I grew up learning about Philadelphia sports teams. I grew up a Phillies fan, an Eagles fan, a Sixers fan. I lived and died watching those professional sports teams play on a regular basis. But here's the thing. South Carolina does not have any professional sporting teams at this time. Now, yes, we have the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, that are just over the border in North Carolina, and to the west we have the Atlanta Falcons, which are not too far away as well. But South Carolina itself does not have an actual professional football team or basketball team. We have a few minor league baseball teams throughout the state, like here in Myrtle Beach we have the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, and they're great to go and watch, but there's still never going to be an all-star game here or a World Series or anything like that that happens. Now, what that means is this. Here in South Carolina, it is a college sports town. People are huge fans of their college sport teams. One of the first things that I was asked when I moved here was, am I a Clemson fan or am I a Gamecock fan? And I had no clue. I had never really paid attention to college sports because growing up, I had the pro teams right near me and that's all I cared about. So I had to learn this pretty quickly. And one of the things that has really been great here along the coast over the last few years is that Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, my alma mater, has a football team now that is doing fairly well. At the time of recording this video, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are ranked within the top 25 football teams. And because of this notoriety and recognition, this area is really starting to grow for football and coastal as well. So basically what you need to learn is this. When moving to South Carolina, which of the three teams are you going to be rooting for on a regular basis? Is it the Clemson Tigers up in the northwest, the Gamecocks in the center, or along the coast, Coastal Carolina? Those are the things you need to pay attention to when it comes to sports. Now, you can find some of your pro teams here in the area and catch their games, but if you have a specific team that you want to make sure you can catch every week, especially in football, I would highly recommend getting the NFL ticket because it's very difficult at times to find the games where you're going to be able to hear the audio and see the TVs really easy, even if you go out and visit sports bars. So that would be a suggestion that I would give you as well. And one of the other things, like I said, learn college football because this place lives and dies by it. And the last thing that I wanted to discuss today is the wildlife here in South Carolina. One of the top questions I get asked by people who are moving to the area is this: Jeremy, are there alligators in the area? And here's the reality. Yes, you're going to find alligators throughout South Carolina. We're in a warmer tropical climate where they love to live. And here's the reality. They were here way before we ever showed up. But the thing with alligators is this. If you will let them alone and don't really bother them, they're not going to really ever pester you. Alligators as a whole are a rather lazy creature. I recently took a trip up to Alligator Adventure, and that was the words, quote for quote, that the person shared with us there. Alligators are fairly lazy. They don't want to have to work for their food. So what that means is this: if you see an alligator in a pond outside of your home, if you leave that alligator alone, it's going to leave you alone. Now, if you go down along the edge and start taunting it or smiling, laughing at it or throwing things at it, it could come out and chase you. So you don't really want to mess with them. But as a whole, you leave them alone, they're going to let you alone. Now, some other things that we have when it comes to wildlife in our area that sometimes people freak out about is this. Number one, we have roaches in the area, or water bugs as some people like to call them. But they are just a roach that's here in the area. They're not really harmful. They're just ugly and they're big, and they kind of a little intimidating when you see them. In fact, if you kill one, it kind of goes crunch with it when you step on it. But here's the thing. If you get your house treated on a somewhat regular basis, you don't have to worry too much about the roaches. The same thing is true with some of the other weird bugs that you're going to find in the area. Things like an earwig or, heaven forbid, termites. Yeah, I've done whole videos on termites here in the area. And here's the thing that I was told by a professor from Clemson University. He said, Jeremy, you will not find a square foot of ground throughout the state of South Carolina that does not have at least one remnant of termites in it. What that means is this: is the termite eating at your house or your neighbor's? So if you live in South Carolina, one of the things that I would highly recommend is get your home treated on a regular basis. Get either a pest control company that comes and sprays every quarter, or make sure that you're going to either Lowe's or Home Depot at least once a quarter, getting some bug spray and treating the exterior and interior of your home. And if you were to get that termite infestation at your house, do not freak out. It's fairly common. What you're going to have to do is just hire a pest control company to come in, treat your home for termites, and get them taken care of. You do not want to let those sit for a while though and take time to do it, because the time that you waste, they're eating your home, and then you could have major damage in your property. Once you have the house treated, they're going to put a termite bond in place, and you will be protected as long as you renew it each and every year, which normally requires having an inspection done and paying maybe $100 to $150 to renew the bond for the next year. What happens if during that year termites show up again? They will come out, they will treat the house and take care of any problems that come from it underneath that bond. So bugs are something we deal with here in South Carolina. It's okay. If you get your home treated regularly and take care of those things, you're not going to have a big issue with them either. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on 5 things you should know before moving to South Carolina. My name's Jeremy Blanton with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and I want to know what's something that you want to learn more about before moving to South Carolina. Leave a comment down below, and I look forward to talking to you soon. See ya.